Alright, hello and welcome to the Devstream 106 breakdown. So, we have a lot to get to today, so let's just get started. First and foremost, the unvaulting accessories packs. So, basically, Jim Sterling made a video about how the way that Warframe does unvaultings is kind of garbage, and thank you to Mr. Sterling for doing so, because that was the final push that DE needed to finally do the thing that the community has wanted for quite some time. That being separate accessories packs for the unvaultings. With that, DE does want feedback on the matter, and I would like to maybe guide some feedback so that this is done in the most advantageous way possible for the players. Basically, what I think should be the case, and you could probably see the reasoning for it, is that each of the accessories that are with each Warframe, let's say, like the accessories that come with Ember, accessories that come with Loki, accessories that come with the Frost pack, those are all separated out individually to be 3 completely individualized packs. What is the reason for this? The reason that I think that should be the case is that the reason that we want this change is so that we don't have to be like, I already farmed Ember, I have Ember in game, I have the weapons in game, I just want the accessories, I don't want to purchase Ember and the weapons and stuff again. To avoid the I already bought these accessories when they came out, I don't want to buy these accessories just to get these accessories, they should all be completely individualized packs. I think that's just common sense at this point, obviously, and I'm sure most of you already came to the same conclusion that that would be the preferable way to do this. And whether or not DE wants to include some platinum, which is always useful to all players, and that would be fine, and then price appropriately. So, I would very much urge everyone to give their feedback on that matter on Twitter, on the forums, on the Reddit, etc., as they are going to decide how they are going to do the unvaulting accessories packs. And I hope they do it like that, because I think that would be the most intelligent way to go about it. But, you know, we'll see. With the we'll see, let's talk about trial removal. So, basically, ever since that I did that other video on the raids being gone, my opinion on how DE is handling this has soured significantly. Basically, on the stream, they were talking about redesigning completely and basically removing forever the raids that we know today. That means no more LOR, no more Nightmare LOR, and no more JV, basically ever again. Like, what was said on the Devstream gave me assurance that we, after they are removed at the end of this month, will never see these raids in anything like this current form ever again. Like things along the lines of them not being 8 players anymore, maybe, and all kinds of stuff like that. It's really, really unfortunate. And also, part of the reason that my opinion on this is soured is that it has moved less from, in my mind, this being the fault of, like, people are just too casual in Warframe and they don't want to do it. They don't want to do the raids. They think they're too hard or inaccessible, etc., and more so that this is actually DE's fault. Playing through the raids and doing all that stuff and like examining that stuff on stream, which I did yesterday. You guys can go watch the stream archive on Twitch if you're really interested in the full thing that we did. It became doubly obvious, because I have another reason to look at it, that DE is absolutely horrible at promoting the content that is available in their game. There is no breadcrumb trail to raids, and like a perfect example of how inaccessible due to DE's design the raids are is Skill Up's review. So, for those of you that don't know, YouTuber Skill Up, very popular, many subs, had a very successful Warframe review. In that review, at the time that he did that review, obviously he would know now as it was not included, he did not know raids existed in Warframe. He had played Warframe for many, many hours at the point where he made that review, and obviously, as like, he's a successful guy, he does his research, he knows what the fuck he's doing in most cases. He's a good dude. With that, he didn't know raids exist, and that says a lot about the way the DE messages, in that they don't. If you don't get told by someone who does raid about the raids, you'll never know they exist. Like, if you're not someone who consumes, like, YouTube Warframe content, or, like, all that stuff, and especially even for some content creators that just don't do the raids anymore, and, like, they covered them when they came out, and then, like, whatever, like, that's old content now, people that joined later still wouldn't have a chance to even see any of that stuff. And that is a massive, massive problem, and it's not like the fault of the content creators, the community at large, for not telling everybody about raids. They need to message the available content better in the game, as it's one of the things that DE does the worst, along with the distribution of rewards as well. But I'll leave that discussion for another video. And yeah, basically, I think that this whole thing could have been avoided by better messaging from DE, because it's a wonder that the trials had as much of a community as they do, with like the huge, like, over 10,000 person Discord for them and stuff, etc. Whatever. Let's move on. Let's talk about what's coming back after 3 years, and that's dark sectors. Though they might not even be called dark sectors when it actually fully gets into the game. Basically, these have been completely ripped out of what they initially were and are a completely different thing now. What it is now is basically dungeoning. It's just Diablo 3 riffs. And what this is going to be set up as is you have 20 minutes to get as many, like, floors in as you can, if you will, with different modifiers and tile sets, etc. And it'll be weekly with mutators, and basically clans are going to compete to see who can get, like, the farthest or, like, the most points or whatnot. So that's fine, but the thing that DE didn't really talk about, and is probably the single most important thing to a system like this, is what are the rewards for this system? Having good rewards is very, very important. And also, as I posted on Twitter, as maybe a couple of you saw, I was actually working on a video concept for a new game mode, which I'll just show here for a second. I had a concept for Void Towers that actually is much like what they revealed today, but as you can see, I pretty, like, explicitly outlined what some rewards were going to be, as that part of the design is incredibly important to, like, the game, or any game. Like, getting the thing is really important. And it also seemed like each floor only really had one mechanic in the thing that you actually need to do, and, like, I had the multiple objectives and all that business. Whatever, you guys can look through that if you'd like. If DE were to crib anything from that, that's absolutely wonderful, honestly. But I was working on that. Obviously, that video will now never come out because we're getting this, which would be too similar. Anyway, like I say in this note, if the rewards for this aren't great, it's dead on arrival and no one will fucking care at all. Which is really unfortunate. Speaking of shit no one will fucking care about outside of the first week of its release, the pet Moas. So, pet Moas are going to be a thing, and you're going to have a pet Moa that can run around. So that's cool, I guess. No word on Univac still, so I guess we're getting more pets without vacuum, so it's just more pets that won't get used. So that's perfect, great, outstanding. I can level those for the mastery and then put them in the freezer with every other pet that they've released. So that'll be perfect. That'll be the dream, honestly. Like, we can continue to ask for Univac, basically, and be like, hey, this makes your game explicitly more fun, and we'd all really like that. And then they will continue to put more things in my fridge, along with, like, all the cats and dogs that are in there to be frozen in stasis forever. So that's wonderful. I'm sure that'll be adorable, and I'll never have any reason to use it. So great. Besides that, we have a little bit of animation on the spider tank / bots, which is right here. And this is pretty cool. I like how they animated super well. This is going to be in the new open world area, which we can hope against hope won't have the same problems that PoE currently does, but we can almost be assured that at least some of them will be present. So that's fantastic. Sorry if I'm a little pessimistic today. Korra is still being worked on, which, like, basically she's being completely retooled, and, like, it was a break for her to be designed while all of these changes to Warframes were happening, which makes sense. But we also saw some new Eidolon animation, which is here. And basically, this is the flying Eidolon that can also walk on its wings, basically. Those are its wings whenever it does fly around. But yeah, it's super creepy. And also, this and the spider tank both have weird grabby hands. So there's that as well. But yeah, that's pretty neat, I suppose. And we have some post-stream stuff that was released on Twitter and things that they're also talking about. So as we talked about in some previous videos this week, they were adding arcanes to the new terror list. So instead, they have decided that they're not adding the reward for killing the new terror lists to the new terror lists yet in the update. because there might be exploits and they don't want people to be rewarded too highly for exploits. So there are just going to be essentially no rewards for the new terror lists when the update drops. Which seems like a bad choice. That seems, I'll be honest, kinda dumb. Because if you're releasing new content, and you're like, okay, we're releasing this new content, but it might be exploitable, so we're just not going to have rewards for it, besides that shitty Riven transmutation thing that we won't talk about. Because, like, even though there are a million suggestions why that's shitty and bad, let's just not talk about it. Let's just put that in the game and never mention it again. And add another layer of RNG to Rivens. That'll be the reward. It's just those. Not the actually good rewards known as arcanes. So perfect. And also, in the aftermath of the stream, we got a post from Steve, which is basically that arcanes are being changed in how they are applied to stuff, and they're just going to be slots on loadouts instead of equipping to your cosmetics. Which, let me just say, thank God. Thank God that's happening. Jesus. So yeah, that'll be fantastic whenever that happens. We've been asking for that for quite some time as well. Especially since arcanes were more prevalently added to the planes and such. So, with that, I'll be honest. I'm excited for this update due to, like, the Atlas changes and stuff. But, like, the stuff with raids, kind of fucking depressing right now. And, like, the pet Moas, I don't have a reason to care. And, like, the dark sectors, I just don't have faith in DE to put actual meaningful rewards in them and make them content that anyone gives a fuck about. But yeah, that's the Devstream 106 breakdown. I am going to be streaming tonight. There's going to be a Twitch drop that is going to be going on, I think, this entire weekend. I think it's another Exilus adapter for those of you that would like one of those. You can get that by watching the stream. And hopefully that update actually comes out and I can test the Atlas changes, because that's definitely the number one thing that I'm excited about right now. So, I will see you guys later / then.